Let's bring in our panel, federal attorney and host of Mom Life and Law podcast, Megan Whiteside, founder and president of the Article 3 Project, and former law clerk to Justice Neil Gorsuch, Mike Davis. Welcome to the both of you. First, to you, Mike, your thoughts on what you just heard from Joe Biden.
Lawless fiat where he thought he can give away $400 billion of working Americans' money to his deadbeat supporters who got useless college degrees. If his program is so popular, he should go to Congress and convince them to pass it. But in the meantime, we don't live in a dictatorship, and presidents don't just get to spend $400 billion of other people's money in this country.
Yeah, no kidding. Megan, what do you think?
Really, the president's remarks did not touch on the main issue in today's decision, which is the separation of powers, one of the founding principles of our country, spelled out in the different articles to the Constitution, the powers of each branch of government and the checks and balances on those powers. And today's decision was about the executive branch really taking action that is reserved to the legislative branch. And the text of the opinion points out that it is Congress that has the authority to set forth programs, budgeting, relief, monetary relief that was originally outlined in this debt relief program. And so rather than turning to a different statute to try to get this relief, really this is the job of Congress to grant this relief. And comparing the student debt relief program to the PPP is really misguided. The PPP was part of the CARES Act that was enacted by Congress under Article 1. And so really pointing to the separation of powers is what's important here.
Absolutely. You know, I think that is a wonderful distinction, is that Joe Biden, hey, if your plan is so great, then just convince 535 individuals in the Congress that it's so great, because that's the way our Constitution says it ought to be done. Joe Biden claiming the Supreme Court doesn't know what the Constitution says. I believe it's Joe Biden who really has no clue about most things, in particular the Constitution. Megan, I want to keep it with you. The High Court ruled in favor of a Christian graphic artist who does not want to make wedding websites for gay couples. It's important to note that this is and always has been a First Amendment issue. Doesn't impact those with storefronts who set up businesses that are open to the public. This case just reaffirms that one American can't force another American to violate their religious beliefs as a price for being in business, correct?
It's actually less about religious beliefs and more about compelled speech. And what the court held today is that under freedom of speech, a business owner cannot be compelled to publish certain speech. Now, this particular case dealt with a business owner who cited religious reasons behind her decision not to publish this speech. But it's not about religion. It's about whether this government, our government, has the ability to compel all of us as citizens to say certain things in a certain way. And what the Supreme Court upheld today is that the freedom of speech outlined in the Bill of Rights still stands.
Right. Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, all in that First Amendment to the United States Constitution, and rightly so. Mike, finally, America has put the nail in the coffin of state-sanctioned racism and bigotry. High Court ruling yesterday that affirmative action is unconstitutional because it discriminates based on race. Isn't it fair to point out this is the third time in U.S. history where conservatives have defeated left-wing bigotry? Lincoln led the abolishment of slavery. The GOP had a bigger percentage of the vote in the Civil Rights Act. And now Trump's Constitutional Court defeated the Democrats' affirmative action. Fair?
Yeah, that's very fair. We have President Trump gave us the first constitutionalist Supreme Court in 90 years, and they are pushing back against state-sponsored bigotry, whether that bigotry is Colorado, where there's no shortage of bakers and florists and website designers who will make or create anything anyone wants. They are targeting Christians in Colorado to try to put them out of business. Literally, Christians minding their own business. They're going after them. Now they're going after poor Asian kids so they can give college slots to wealthy, connected, less qualified black kids. How is that equality in America? This is Marxism, and the Supreme Court correctly held in both of these cases that it's unconstitutional.
Weaponizing government to pick winners and losers. Mike Davis, Megan Whiteside, thank you.